Hey there, everyone. Welcome to a special edition of Watch Soup. Now, we didn't have Watch Soup last Sunday, Clayton. That's mostly my fault. All my fault, actually.
You had a party, right?
We hosted a little Christmas party here. You
Nice.
can see, we got the Christmas decorations up, and the little
Festive.
little house, right, and the
Cool.
and the, and the wreath, right. Getting in the spirit of it all. Have you been getting into the spirit? Has it
No,
finally hit you?
well, we don't like decorate or anything. My wife is Jewish, and I
Mm.
don't care enough to. She's like, you can set up a tree if you want to. I'm like, I'm fine. But I love gift giving,
Yeah, yeah.
and getting gifts too. So no, it's a fun time of year. So I got all of my dog walking and running clients. I made them individualized cards of a picture of their dog I took throughout the year.
Aw,
I couldn't quite figure out how to do it online, so I had to schlep to the CVS and do it at the photo
yeah,
kiosk.
yeah.
Was there for like an hour and a half, but no, everybody really likes that to get a personalized card, and
Of
people are
course.
incredibly generous. Got like incredible, just mind blowing gifts from people. Like people are too kind, so it's a good time of year just to be. I know it's not Thanksgiving, but give thanks for the people in your lives, and it's
Yeah,
fun. It's as fun giving as it is getting. So
of course. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, we get caught up with it because of the kids, right? So it
yeah,
amplifies the 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 festivities, the celebration a little bit because you want to see, they get into it, right? They're
right.
just happy. Um, hey, let me guess. What do you have on your list?
Well, I did get it. I did get like 5 new Octopod straps for it, so I went with the red and green for
Oh,
Christmas. So I
so
am
good.
festive in that respect, anyway. But yeah, so those just came in tonight. So it's not like super easy to switch them out. I've had that
Mm.
same strap, but it's probably really gross by now. I have to. I don't know how you wash a strap like that. How do you wash elastic straps in the dishwasher? I used to do that with NATO straps.
Nah, but you know how I wash them? I put them in the garbage. That's how I wash them, and I go, "More, can I get another one?" You know what I mean? That's what I usually do. But,
Yeah, it still works fine. It's just probably could use a refresh after
yeah.
being on my grimy wrist for over a month. Pretty
Yeah,
gross.
yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you. Hey, I got the Damasco DC 56
Awesome.
Chrono on. Yeah, good watch. I was out with the kids today. We went over to I had a play date, and they had a big 14-acre farm area with a trail that went up next to a reserve, and we're overlooking the Delaware. It was really, really nice.
Cool.
Really glad I had that watch on, because it's nice and rugged. Made me feel,
Manly.
rugged, manly. Yeah, sure, right. Yeah,
That's what
whatever.
I'm going for. I'm trying to give that look to with the beard and the cap. I
Yeah,
just haven't shaved my head in a
yeah,
while, and
yeah.
the male pattern baldness really
Oh,
shows when
hey,
that happens.
tell me about it. But you know what? Speaking of male pattern bros, let's say, listen, I'm sure there's some bald guys in the chat. So let's say hello before we start it.
That's the best segue of all time.
Hey, James Duffy, how you doing? What's going on? Maison One, hey, festive greetings, festive humans, festive night. He has a Moser heritage on. Very nice.
Mm.
Bill K is here. How you doing, Bill? James wearing the Bellomatic. Um, Caliber is here. How you doing, Caliber? Ken Spear checking in from Pittsburgh. Underachieving watch collector. Hello. Mes9 is here. Good to see you, Mes9. Um, KR Joy. Good to see you. Good to see you here. Rob is here. Put them in your jeans pocket. Okay. Sure. Sure. Anyway, so
Not sure if
let's
that'll clean them. I have dog treats and poop bags. Well, not full poop bags, but poop bags, rolls of this. Oh, that would just make it more gross.
yeah. Hey Bruno, good to see you. Hey, so look, it's been a crazy week. We have an abbreviated version of Want Soup tonight. Clayton and I each picked a video. We don't have a third video to talk about. Maybe we'll chat a little bit, after that, or maybe we'll have enough to talk about. But like I said, a abbreviated episode this week. And probably no Watch Soup on Sunday because it's Christmas Eve, and I'm definitely not going to be around.
Right, me
Um,
neither.
so again, we may do something next week if we both have the time. But anyway, let's get started. And the first video this week is Federico Talks Watches. He does his weekly Q&A session, and this one's titled "Watch Market Predictions for 2024. Prices keep going down." And before he addresses those, he addresses a couple of other questions, and one of them, which I guess I never really put much thought about, it, is like, hey, what is your take on micro rotor pieces? And he loves them, right? He feels like it's a very elegant way of architecture on a watch. It's very expensive, although we have seen some other brands like Baltic do it on the
Mhm.
cheap. And Parmigiani, makes one of the best, micro rotors out there, and his grail in the rotor world would be a Chopard, and I forget which model he mentioned, but a really nice little touch with the micro rotor. Very, because they're expensive. They take, you have to repair them, that kind of stuff. So, very very interesting piece, and I like the way they look too as well. But let's go into some more interesting questions, and I always like to hear his take on stuff, right? So, but before we get, he also discussed, gets the question, what is your favorite Art Deco watch, right? And you almost know what the answer is going to be with this one, and it's a Cartier. He has a Tank American,
Yep.
and you would think Reverso, right? But that, for him, Reverso's number two. And Clayton, there's not really too many watches out there, brands that I think do Art Deco well, like really, really well. And I would have to say, Cartier and JLC with the Reverso are probably the best two out there. I know there's some other brands that do it, but I'm totally on board with that. I love Cartier. They definitely have that design signature with the Art Deco looks in a lot of their models across the board. And of course, the Reverso is a classic. What do you think about Art Deco watches, and
Well
what do you think about those?
well, I like those. I actually have I think you have to go, like, vintage into maybe brands that have been lost to time, right? Like,
Yeah.
I have a that 1940s Gruen I was gifted. That's
Mm,
an Art Deco piece, like, I
yeah.
like that one, and, yeah, so I think a lot of times you have to look to brands like Gruen and, brands that have probably, maybe we haven't
Sunsetted,
even
right?
heard about, yeah, lost to time and Quartz Crisis and all that, but yeah, those are really good choices, but yeah, I have a soft spot for my Gruen, so I would pick that one probably just 'cause, and I usually wear that on, New Year's Eve, so its day is coming, it's one day of the year that it gets worn.
Yeah, yeah. And now, have you had a Cartier? I feel like you've had a Santos, no?
Yeah, I've had 2. I had a Santos two-tone Santos 100, that's on the leather strap.
Yeah.
I bought that one, pre-owned. Sometimes it feels better to buy because those, as we know, those bezels scratch up, so it
Hmm.
feels better to buy it pre-owned, it pre-loved, so you don't have to baby it. Not that I
Right.
would anyway, but even on that, like, the first scratch is like, you notice it. So that one was an older discontinued,
Hmm.
model, and, it was a two-tone gold bezel, rose gold bezel. Really nice watch, and then I had the DLC ADLC bezel, the
Yeah.
what is it? WSSA 0037 Santos. But yeah, they're both gone. But yeah, I love Cartier. I mean, those wear so well with the curved case
Oh
and
yeah.
the bracelet tech, obviously on the new Santos was incredible. I felt like the large worked on me, but personal preference, I wish I would have went with the medium.
Mm,
Um, the Santos 100 medium worked great on me. The large fit,
yeah.
but as time went on, I wore it less because I just wished it wore, like, a little smaller, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works.
I had a Santos. I had the large. Was it DLC? It had like the rubber. It was almost like a rubber bezel. I
Okay.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not remembering correctly, or not. It was like, 2 years ago. I bought it for Mrs. Legs, but it ended up being a little bit bigger. It was a 39 by 39, and I liked it too. I liked it too. But I think I like the high polished version of the uh,
Yeah.
of the Santos, even though, like, it is a scratch magnet, right? And that's always the fear. But wear your watches, right?
Yeah.
And if you put that, the scratch in there, maybe after you get that first scratch done, and I
Yeah.
guess you can get those all polished, right?
The
That's,
100 scratch is easier than the first one. Like,
yeah.
once it's scratched up, I've never had the polished one from new, so I don't know, but I imagine that first one is probably stressful, but then once it's broken in, then it's like, "All right, let's go," because it's going to happen, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that Santos 100 I had was full of scratches, I mean, it was and I thought it looked great.
Mhm. And you never had a reverso. That's like the one I feel
No,
like you got. Yeah,
never
yeah.
never had a reverse. I
And he,
don't know that it's me
yeah,
necessarily. Yeah. I if I obviously, I mean, utmost respect for JLC and for that watch. I mean, ho what a
yeah,
cool watch, but yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure it fits my style, but,
yeah.
I'll admire from afar.
I think I could roll with one. My issue is, I mean, you definitely want to try those on, right?
Yeah,
Because of the fit, right? It may not fit everybody's wrist. I've heard some stories where people were excited to get or the reverso. Once they got it, it didn't really fit right.
right.
It didn't really fit right. So you had to have the wrist for it. But there's some really really cool versions of the reverso out there. The dual face, I love the dual face. Just some great pieces. Classic. I don't know if I ever gonna get one either. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
man, they are really pretty to look at. And so moving along. Last question that Federico answered, and I love talking about this topic. I know we talk about it a lot, but someone asked, in 2024, what is his watch market prediction, and he feels like there's going to be a tiny bit more decline, and then a stabilization. He's categorizing what happened this year as a correction. And I think that's the appropriate way to look at it. It wasn't a crash, right? Where it was a correction to where pricing, normally is or should be, pre-COVID. I mean, COVID really threw things out of whack, pricing out of whack, and watches were some brands, some models are going multiples over retail, right? And that continued for a couple of years, and now we're seeing those prices coming back down to reality, not calling it a crash per se, but a correction. And I think that's the right terminology now. Where I think there is a little bit of debate is like how much more are we going to see a slip, right? you know uh, we're facing here in the states an election next year, and usually I feel like the economy gets a little bump in an election year, right? The Fed perhaps considering interest rate drops next year. Um, but we still have the issue with inflation going on, and a lot of people, like on Main Street, are still feeling it rough, feeling the pinch, even though the U.S. consumer is very very strong. Like, how long could that last, right? So I feel like, man, that's a little bit, the jury's still out. He's got an opinion. Somebody asked him, he's got an opinion that it's gonna come down a little bit more and then stabilize. I feel like there might be a little bit more room to come down with certain pieces, with a lot of pieces actually, and then you'll see the stabilization. Any thoughts? I mean, it's so hard to predict, but I mean, any thoughts on that, Clayton?
Yeah, I've been looking at, prices, going on, Delray, Fed site, of course, and then, like, Nashville Watch.
Hmm.
I know a few
Yeah.
people who have
Oh
done
yeah.
business with them, and I now they're one of my go-to
Oh
just to
yeah.
and, I mean, you can get, like, he has unworn, Explorer 2 for,
Hmm.
I mean, not, subs, like, not that much more than retail, and, like, a couple of them are unworn. I don't know what the retail actually is on a Polar Explorer 2 right now. Is it between 10 and 11? Is that right?
Is
Or
it
is it more?
probably with tax? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I think he had an unworn, Polar Explorer 2 for, like, 11,500.
mm,
Like, if you're a buyer, and, you can do it, I mean, now
yeah,
is the time.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's probably right. I think, yeah, next year, I mean, yeah, and a turbulent election at that, by the sounds of what's going on in the news lately, and then
Hmm.
there's, 2 wars going on, so, yeah,
Yeah,
it's a really unstable time, so,
yeah.
who knows, but I can see luxury goods, still being on the back burner and really, maybe a little room to even go down, so,
Yeah.
if you're selling right now, not the
It's
best
tough.
time. I've flirted with the Moser, but gosh, when I got offers back from a couple, pre-owned guys. I
Even
did not
trade
like
values,
it.
right? Trade
Yeah,
values aren't
trade
good.
values, and a lot of them aren't even buying, they're just taking
Yeah,
on trade.
yeah.
I think Fed is usually buying, always buying, but
But
I
he,
know a bunch of them. But
yeah,
yeah, but you can buy what at what he offers,
yeah, 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 yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
No offense, I love Fed, but yeah, that's he came back with something really low, and then a few others did too. A couple were going to pay cash, and if I wanted the money, I could have gotten it. It
Hmm.
wasn't about the money necessarily, so I just hung on because I like the watch, and I feel like it's a white gold
Yeah.
watch that retails for a lot, and I was getting offered way. I thought I got a good deal when I bought it, and
Hmm.
boy, if you want to buy
Yeah,
one of those now, you really should.
yeah, yeah. And look, it's crazy because like even like selling Seikos is hard, right? And
Yes.
that's
Yep.
that's interesting, right? I mean, it's been hard
Yep.
for a few months now. I mean, like 6 months to sell Seikos, and usually you can sell those pretty quickly. You'll lose some money, but now like people are just like, not even interested. And I've been seeing some inventory like on or just like regular private sellers on Watch Seek and stuff like that. Um, Watches like sticking around. Like I was following. I really like that Glasuta Original panel reserve, and
Mhm.
and I'm on watch patrol, and I see like several of them. I mean, they're just like hanging in there. They've just been there for like ever in the low sixes, and nobody. I mean, they're still available. So like yeah, I'm just waiting to see like does that dip under six and
Make an
to the
offer.
high
You
fives.
never know, they
Yeah,
might take
yeah. I mean, I'm in no position. I'm in no position, but
right.
I mean, like, but as just like an exercise, just to see like where things are at. But those watches, they take a little bit of a hit, and now you're seeing them in the low sixes, and like do we see them in the high fives? Once in a while, like I've maybe seen it once in the last few months, something one of those like in the high fives, like 5.8 or 5 fifty
Yeah.
eight hundred 5900.
Oh, hello? I think we lost Bobby. I think we had a freeze. Hello? Hello?
I'm back.
You're back, okay.
Back, yeah, yeah.
I was about to run the show here. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, gosh, now I bought my Moser in March of this year, and I watched that. Like, that came down like 5 grand
mm,
from its original and this was pre-owned, of course. Uh, but, Topper had one in the last couple of months, a green version of the one I had, and it sold right away, but it was offered for less than what I bought mine for right out of the gate. So that
mm,
just tells you, um, oh, it's a yeah, rough time to sell. We know some people who we have some friends who are dipping their toes into the selling waters for the first
yep,
time, and they're moving their watches, but they're pricing them. And we have another friend who sold a bunch of watches recently, and he priced them to sell like bonanza pricing, like
yeah,
awesome prices, but they were low. It was
yeah,
low. I'm
yep,
certain he took a loss, but
yep, absolutely.
yeah.
Hey, let's see what the chat says before we move on to the next video. Akira Joe is saying, "Love my tag, Octavia Micro Rotor, very nice." James, he would like to add a vintage Micro Rotor to the collection. Mez9 saying, "I've got an early '30s Movado stepped tank style case in gold that screams Art Deco. Definitely needs a service though. Very nice."
Yeah, those are
He's
cool.
Those are very cool. His own saying a few years back, when the micro rotor seized on Archie's Paddock 5110 World Time right after it came back from the official Paddock service. Yikes. Um, Maison saying unworn Moser Pioneers in the UK are more expensive than buying from Moser. Methinks
Huh.
they bought them for too much and now refuse to drop the price. Very possible. Hey, AK, good to see you. Um, James says, I recently found two neo vintage Seiko Grails in the same week. The market is definitely soft. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Hey,
I was just
let's
gonna
move on.
say
Oh yeah, sure.
Rob, commented that, and my brain doesn't function on weeknights, but, yes, put them in the straps in your jeans pocket when you are washing them.
Oh,
That makes a
okay.
lot more sense.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah, that's a good tip.
Yeah,
Thanks, Rob.
that is a
Appreciate it.
good tip, I will do that.
Okay, so moving on to the final video here. Watchfinder and Co. The worst watches of 2023. This is going to be a fun one. Go ahead. Go ahead, Clayton.
Yeah, this was a rough week to find videos, and I know a few people made their worst. I know the Mad Watch Collector did,
Mm,
but that was just watches he'd reviewed. So I thought this might be a little more relatable. So Tom and Andrew at it again. They're trying to fill each other's heads with negativity. They hate to do it, but these brands shouldn't have done it either. So they're going for it. Tom starts with the PRX. It's a darling,
mm,
but they took it too far with this digital PRX. I think we've talked about this watch. Maybe glad it exists, but not big fans of it. It just does not look well done. Like they could have done it better. It just looks
yeah.
like they slapped like a, $10, $2, 50 cent, sort of digital module in there, digital screen. There's a bunch of negative space. There's not a whole, we're used to Casio digitals with, the all the specs of the watch on the but no, you don't get any of that here really. So there's a lot of negative space. It might be Tom said it, it might be cute if it were 30 pounds or something, like haha, look what we did. But it's
Right.
450 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like $400 watch in the US. So they're milking it maybe a little too much with the PRX. Maybe this is a step too far. Obviously, it's brought Tissot, like we've talked about it before, put them back on the map. Like it's a
Mhm.
huge, huge hit for them. But maybe this one, it's still going to have the for the money. I mean, it's finished well. The bracelet's good. So you get all that, but yeah, you get that lousy kind of. Again, it looks like a cheap Casio. I think you can probably buy a Casio for $20 that's got the same, is the finishing and the bracelet and all that worth the extra $400
Yeah.
essentially. That's kind of what you're paying for. Yeah, Tom said they're kind of mining that hipster vibe. Like I see a lot of baristas wearing like the A168, Casio. So that's kind of what they're going for. Even the advertisements say you can set the alarm waking up after a party or something like that. So yeah, it's for like party vibes. And Andrew chimed in that it has the year Tissot was founded on it, 1853. So he said the coolest part of the watch is when it's 6:53 p.m. 1853.
Mm,
But yeah, other than that, it's kind of a miss. And then the second watch they talked about was the
mhm.
Swatch Blancpain. I don't know what we're calling it, the System 51 Fathoms. I always like that name, but Swatch Pawn,
Yeah.
plastic crap, whatever they said. So they talked to the Moon Swatch came first. Obviously, it was took the world by storm, revolutionary release, love it or hate it. You talked about it regardless. And then they repeated that formula with the Blancpain 50 Fathoms. This is in celebration of the 70th anniversary of the 50 Fathoms, widely regarded as the first modern dive watch. So Thrifty Fathoms, yep, that's a good one. Thrifty Fathoms. You talked about the five different colors, celebrates the different biodiversities in the oceans. They're kind of wacky colors. There's nothing like too traditional. Like even with the moon swatch, like the mission to the moon looks like the Speedmaster, looks like the moon
Yeah.
watch, right? So if you want to check one out, but you don't want one of the red ones or the blue ones, you can still get that one. It's like a normal. These are all kind of out there designs, kind of funky designs. And he said nobody bought them. I've often wondered like how they're performing. I haven't seen any statistics on that, but he says nobody's bought them. Yeah, the hype sort of fizzled out. You were never going to recreate the moon swatch fever just because Blancpain isn't as well known as Omega, I think, too. And the
Yeah.
50 Fathoms, as legendary as it is not as well known and highly regarded, I guess, as a Speedmaster. So, he thought it was pretty low when he saw a Pelican case of these Swatch Ponds at a Blancpain boutique. He thought they were getting desperate. I don't know. I think that makes sense. Why not? Why wouldn't you
Yeah.
do that to promote, especially if it's in conjunction with the anniversary? So I don't know. That seemed to bother him. That doesn't really bother me. Um, Tom thought they were kind of fun. He liked the case back. He thought the moon swatch was naughty, and that's why it was so good. But this feels just routine. Like they're just now it's formulaic almost. Every year we're gonna get one of the Swatch Group brands collaborating with Swatch on these, right? It just felt like that. Um, Andrew thought it was strange that, Blancpain, outside of that, like, bronze gold watch, they didn't do a proper anniversary in steel, just one that, everybody could buy, not limited edition of the, 50 Fathoms for the 70th anniversary. He thought this would have been much better as, a piece to go along with it instead of the anniversary issue.
Yeah.
Imagine if they released like a, 70th anniversary and then in conjunction you release these. Like that's kind of fun. I think collectors would probably be because I think a lot of Blancpain collectors really did not like this release. So I think if you had like an actual anniversary watch and then this to kind of go along with it, collectors might be a little more open to it and it would give it like more of a reason too. But anyway, what are your that was it for their
Yeah.
worst watches of the year. What are your picks for worst watches of 2023?
Well, just to address this video quickly before I give you my picks, I felt like this was just like a lazy. I mean, look, I like Watchfinder Co. I like Andrew. I like the other guy. Um, I just feel like this was just like they mailed it in here with
Yeah,
this.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like
It
this
was
is
way
just
shorter too than their usual videos.
yeah, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Even that yes, which I actually do appreciate because like
The
because we pick
note
them a
taking.
lot. It's nice when it's shorter.
Yeah,
But, I don't know, it just feels like, these picks were just, like, kinda like safe picks, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, everybody craps on the Tissot,
yeah.
the PRX, you either love it or you just crap on it, and the same with the Swatch collaborations, it's just so easy. You know
Shooting
what's
fish in a barrel.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You know what's controversial, not liking that Oris Kermit collaboration like I don't. Like we just had the Amundsen Strap Awards earlier this week, and one of the categories was worst watch. That is an abomination of a watch, right? And from a brand, an independent brand, independent Swiss brand that has quite the following and the fanfare, and that was just a joke. And I'm a huge Kermit fan. I'm a huge Kermit fan, and not even Kermit could save them. A watch that also escaped my mind when I was making the list, and I was reminded because my buddy Wolfie put up a picture of it. Remember that Audemars Piguet Spider-Man watch?
Yeah,
That thing is just freaking stupid.
that's one of my
It's
picks. Yep.
yeah, it was awful. Like enough already, man. Like didn't I mean the Black Panther was terrible. This was bad. I just don't. It just reminds me of something like well Invicta would do, right?
Right.
With the Marvel
Yep.
stuff. Leave that Marvel stuff to Invicta.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? And I'm sure there's going to be some apologists out there for the honors brigade. Oh, it's kind of cool. It's a one blah blah blah, very limited one-off kind of thing, and they just want to like get a new younger crowd following. Well, the younger crowd following can't afford or get on the list for any of these APs anyway. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So yeah. So those are my picks. How about you? I'd love to hear what you have to what your
Yeah,
picks
that
are.
Spider-Man is up there, and I feel a lot of times, we don't want brands to be fun. Like, we take it so serious, like, "Oh, AP, they shouldn't be doing fun things," but there's a difference between fun and then just hideously gaudy, and that's what I think both, like, the Black Panther watch and then this Spider-Man were, like, I just don't get it. Like, you're one of the holy trinity, um, you know, Patek, I think, could still be fun and playful, but
Hmm.
they're still releasing like classic pieces befitting a brand like Patek, and I feel like AP is going the other way. And I watched the Talking Watches with the CEO of AP, who's actually leaving after like 29 years. And now I wonder what is going to happen with them and what direction they're going to go. Maybe that's why he's leaving because he's done all these abominations. A watch that may be controversial, but the latest reissue of the Seiko Marine Master, I
Hmm.
absolutely hate it. I think it's one
Mm,
of the worst releases
okay.
Seiko has done
Yeah.
in so many years. It's a cross between the Marine Master 300, right? It's an iconic,
Absolutely.
you know, saturation diver.
Yeah.
It's too thick for me, but I
It's
like it
awesome.
that way. I
Yeah.
like that it exists because
Yep.
it's just a real deal dive watch. And word was on the streets that they were discontinuing like the SLA
Mhm.
023 and the SLA 053, all those. Uh, and so we were wondering, like, oh, are they just going to completely do away with Marine Master or is it going to come back? And then we see this like 62 Moss Marine Master mashup and with a see-through case back. They took the iconic Marine Master line and made it a fashion watch,
Yeah.
essentially. Now it's going
Yeah.
to be a fine watch, and there are some people who like it. I know we are pretty divided. I think a lot of the hardcore psychopaths are really offended that they did this. Now everybody's complaint about the Marine Master, mine included, is that it's too big of a watch. But I think it should still exist. It's just too big for me. I can go and buy something else.
Yeah.
But I think it's an important watch in the Seiko lineage, and to slap Marine Master on this, it just looks like a confused 62 Moss. And now I believe in this one they're using that thinner movement again that they used in the
Mhm.
SJ093. I don't know. I don't like it. I think without Marine Master, this watch is fine, but putting the Marine Master on there, I just think was a bad move, and
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. So actually, I think that's one of since I've been in watches, that's one of the worst Seiko releases, in my opinion, that I can remember. I don't like it at all.
Wow. Wow. Hot take. I mean,
Yeah,
um, let's get a chat in here. The Orange. Mizun, are you talking about the Orange Collective
I
collaboration? The
believe.
Ooh, that I forget who else picked that in the MSL strap. So it might have been Colin or one of the other guys. But
That
yeah,
huge
that's
watch they released could be on the list too. That like 20 millimeter diver they released too. That
oh,
huge thing.
oh yeah. Um, James, I've been calling it through. Okay, Mizon saying the regular 50 fathoms for the win, but admittedly not for the faint of wallet. Stefan's here. Hey, Stefan, good to see you. Watching on Apple TV. Hey, I sometimes watch it on the TV and I get too lazy to get my phone up to type, but I feel you. James is saying, I think AP wants young people to think of them when they are ready to buy a luxury watch. It will not work. Yeah, I mean, like, but like, you gotta wait on the list. I mean, like, I mean, like, you still gotta wait. I mean, like, when they're ready, they'll be like, okay, I'm ready, and then oh, I gotta wait. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even consider them like. I mean, I know out of habit we all say they're part of the Holy Trilogy, but like, are they really? They're just a one trick pony.
Yeah.
They got one brand, one model, right? And I don't know. It's pretty sad. I know they make other great watches. The 159 is getting popular, and then they have some other ones. You know what I mean? But it's just that they don't. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, um, hey, getting back onto the Seiko Marine Master 300. If you were to, and this is how we're segueing into just filling some time here. Um, if you were to start um, a sub collection, right, of
Yep.
must-have dive watches, um, what would that 300 be in there? That Marine Master 300, like all the iconic, you know, dive watches. Like if you had to get like pick five, right?
Okay. So let's do
I mean,
this.
some Mariner, right? I mean, like
Yep.
whatever it is, what it is, right? You can do
Right.
some Mariner, right?
Yep.
Um, Seamaster.
I'm not going. I don't really care for the scene. Well, is
I know
this
you
what
don't.
is
I know
this
you
my
don't.
personal
Y-
choice, or are we just going like
Okay,
straight
yeah,
up
yeah.
iconic?
Let's just personal choice. But I mean, but stay within the iconic.
Okay, let's say
Yeah.
okay. Let's go with your original train. So Seamaster's in there.
Okay.
Which one, the SMP or the Heritage?
I think whatever you want. Like, I mean, like, this is you. This is Clayton. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
okay. I think Ploprof's in there for me before SMP. I
Okay.
just think the Ploprof's cool. Um, oh, what else? What else can we? Doxa, got to throw
Okay.
like a
Mhm.
yep, Doxa
Yeah,
in there.
iconic dive
Yep,
watch. Yeah, sure.
iconic.
But,
Seiko
but
has a lot of choices, right?
yeah, but does the 300 out of all the Seikos?
I
Maybe
think
maybe
I
the better question is like, what is the iconic Seiko dive watch?
Gosh, I mean,
I know
62
there's a lot of
Moss
them.
is the first. Is it the most iconic? Actually, when I think of Seiko, that 62 Moss design language does not come to my mind
Mhm,
first, right?
mhm.
I think more Willard is what
Mm,
I think of,
okay,
or
okay.
the turtle. Like that's
Yeah,
just quintessential Seiko to
yeah,
me, or
yeah.
even like the Slim Willard.
Mhm.
What is the like the SPB 317 now? I really like the Marine Master 300 case. I like it a little more in like the Marine Master reduced, like Marine Master 200. But yeah, Marine Master's iconic, and
Yeah.
from the top down, it looks awesome. It just
Mhm.
it fits really well. It's that monoblock case,
Yeah,
so it's so tall.
yeah.
It's just a heavy watch, but I mean,
I
it's an icon for sure.
I got one in for review once. A good friend Kevin S sent his one in, and it was one of those limited ones with the
That
it
was
was like a
mine. I
oh,
sold it
oh,
to him. Yeah.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
and on the bracelet, it's a tough wear. I
yeah,
would imagine that watch came with a rubber strap though,
right. Yep.
and um and I gotta tell you, I mean, I, it really I said to myself, man, I could do this. I could wear this watch on a rubber strap. Bracelet would probably be tough.
You
But
wear it
on a
4
rubber,
days in a row, it gets a little.
I wouldn't wear it 4 days in a row. But I mean,
Yeah,
like I even on the rubber, I mean, I probably like wear like I could probably last a day with it and still
right.
have it and love it. And I just like
Yep,
the way it looks. I like how like the dial is crowded and small. It's just like there's something about it very Doxa like, right?
yeah.
With the kind of the crowded dial, and I don't know. There's something that I like about it. I mean, there's some great Seiko divers out
Well,
there
the
for sure.
engineering is so cool, it's monoblock the way, so you
Yeah,
actually don't need, like, a helium escape valve, which
yeah,
is really cool the way it's built, so, like, if you're gonna get that serviced,
yeah.
you have to send it away because they have to go in through
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
dial and the crystal and that way to get to the movement, so,
Well,
um, yeah,
but, but
it's a really cool watch.
yeah, but what I think where I'm getting at and why I kind of started the conversation, like I think it deserves to be up there with all the other iconic divers that have come out in the history of
Oh,
dive
yeah,
watches. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
It's
Like,
in the top 10, I
yeah,
think. Top
yeah. I mean,
5 might be tough.
yeah, yeah.
If you
Top
get
five
the
might be
50
like
fathoms in there.
right, right. 50
Yeah,
fathoms. Obviously, Submariner is got to be there. A
yeah,
Doxa. Whether it's the 300T or whatever 3000, whatever you want
right.
Doxa wise, right? I mean, and then I think Seamasters is up there as well. But I mean, lots of great divers out there, and I think it deserves. I think it deserves to be part of the conversation. If it's not, I mean, maybe it is. It's always going to be in the conversation as best divers or iconic divers. But if it's not, it should be. It should be because I think it's a great watch.
I
Not for
mean,
everybody, but
Seiko is just such a tuna. I mean, where do you
mhm.
put the
Yeah,
tuna?
no, I mean they got
Willard
icons.
tuna. Yeah, I mean, they have
Yeah,
so many icons.
yeah,
Yeah, like a bunch of us who are failed Marine Master owners were just hating on this because,
yeah,
like, even though it doesn't necessarily like you, it works on my wrist. It's
hmm,
just I like to wear my watches a bunch of days in a row, and,
yeah,
man, by the 4th day I mean, I sold that to Kevin, and I was heartbroken about it, um, 'cause I wanted to wear those cufflinks, but I never got
yeah,
the chance.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But, yeah, I've owned 2 of them. I owned the SLA 023, and I did wear that on the bracelet for a while, and it has that wacky ratcheting micro
mm,
adjust diver extension clasp. Um, and then I got a Crafter Blue for that one, and it was but they're just beautiful, and they really, like, quality-wise, aesthetic-wise in the metal, like,
mhm,
I owned a Seamaster at the same time as I owned the SLA 023. I mean, it's just as impressive. I mean, it's
yeah,
really, it's gorgeous. I mean, there's some Zaratsu on there, you have the
mhm,
8L. I mean,
mhm,
it's really well done. If you could pull that off, I mean, you have a great watch.
yeah. And you know what? I mean, like they did discontinue them, right?
Yes.
or appears.
Well, they're back in this abomination.
Right, right, right. But those, I mean, those watches, those previous versions can still be had, and you would think,
Yes.
the pricing is sneaking up, but the pricing hasn't been gone up. I've noticed. I mean, like you can get some of those for like in under two, like
Yeah.
in like the 16, 17, 1800
Yeah.
range. I've seen them down as low as
Tempted to do
4,500.
it, actually.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, right? You know what I mean? Because eventually they're going to go back up. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, buy it because you like it. Don't buy it as an
Well,
investment, obviously.
these versions I'm sorry, go ahead.
But there might be some protection on the upside a couple years from now.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know.
Well, I mean, this version, the SLA 023 and the one, Kevin has, the SLA 053, I believe. I mean, that version was hated by Marine Master enthusiasts because they took Marine Master text off
Mhm.
the dial, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even this one, that we are talking about so glowingly, real Marine Master enthusiasts don't even consider it. So,
Right,
it
right,
has
right.
to have that original Marine Master
Yeah,
text, so imagine, like, if you can get your hands on one of those, I mean, you'd probably be
yeah,
doing a little better. We're
a-
not speculating here, but
yeah.
kind of.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a hardcore Seiko enthusiast. Like so, like the fact that it doesn't have the Marine Master on it. I mean, I get it. I understand why some people it's a sore spot, but to me, it's no big deal. J Thor saying Doxa is no way deserving. Okay. But Omega Seamaster is iconic and a no-brainer in his humble opinion. Yeah, I think Doc's. I mean, like again, this is subjective discussion. I mean, I think you gotta throw in Doxa up there as one of the
Oh,
iconic
yeah.
divers.
I mean, they invented the orange dial
Yeah,
for the underwater legibility. Jacques Cousteau wore Doxa.
yeah,
Yeah, they're definitely, legendary. I mean,
yeah.
maybe they're a zombie brand. I mean, they were brought back. I mean, they
Hmm.
went away for a while,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
this version isn't, the
This,
original version, but there's still that name,
yeah.
I mean, it's legendary within
There's
real
cachet.
real divers you wear Doxa, so
Yeah, yeah. There's still cachet with that name. Well, hey, look. You know, we did a pretty good job this
yeah, we
evening.
did a good job,
Yeah,
weeknight, we're both, beleaguered, tired,
yeah,
yeah, but,
yeah,
no, it was, I'm glad we got to hang out for a while anyway
yeah.
and do this.
Yeah. Anything podcast stuff going on? You're taking a little break?
No, yeah, I still haven't done anything, I've stewing over, like, a new podcast idea, which is not
Oh,
watch related, so,
oh, okay.
yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you
So
need
we,
any feedback, man, you could always reach out to me and ask.
yeah, it's actually yeah, it's sort of like, driving related. I drive a lot for my job, and, just the trials and tribulations of driving, like, 4 or 5 hours a day and, between road workers and cyclists and,
Yeah,
all that kind of fun stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah, something like
Oh,
that. Road
well,
rage in a
I like it.
podcast. Yeah.
Hey, I love it. I love that idea. Hey, chat. Next, I will be streaming next Tuesday, and on the heels of the ASS awards, I want to talk about what your picks are for a positive whiplash or negative whiplash or worst release or best release. So if you guys have any suggestions or idea, just email me or make a comment on this on the ASS awards video. Go back and just write a comment what your picks are. I've reached out to members of the Bobby Legs YouTube group to get their suggestions, and I've got a very good quite a few suggestions for their picks, and I'm going to highlight them. And if you want your pick highlighted, just reach out to me. So that'll be next Tuesday, and maybe Clayton and I will get together either next Wednesday or next Thursday for
Yeah.
another episode of Watch Soup for sure. Anyway, everyone, if you celebrate, have a great Christmas, safe Christmas. Clayton, enjoy your holiday,
Yeah,
and
you too.
and we'll talk soon. Good night, everybody.
Merry Christmas.